Welcome back to Jamie and Julia. I'm Jamie. With me as always is Julia Child.
Oh! Bon appetit.
Now if you're new here, let me bring you up to speed. I'm just an ordinary dude trying to get better in the kitchen. I'm trying to learn how to cook. I'm following along to this cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, Volume 1. From Julia Child. And I'm just making the recipes in this book all for the first time. You know, they could be easy, they could be challenging. You never know until you try them. So that's the name of the game. Today we're making the Sauté de Boeuf à la Parisienne, beef sauté with cream and mushroom sauce. It consists of small pieces of fillet sautéed quickly to a nice brown outside and a rosy center and served in a sauce. This following recipe can be easily prepared in 30 minutes. Perfect. Champignons sauté au beurre. Sautéed mushrooms. So I had these mushrooms, they've been sitting in the fridge for like a week. But I didn't want to go out and buy new mushrooms, so we're just going to use these, but I want to save some for another recipe tomorrow. I have a feeling that should be fine. Wash your shrooms. So I'm just going to slice these like that. Non-stick pan, high heat, like an ounce of butter and oil. So the butter is like foaming, so that's a great time to get the mushrooms in. Don't crowd them. Toss and shake the pan for like 4 to 5 minutes. During that, the mushrooms will first absorb the fat, and then in 2 to 3 minutes, the fat will reappear on the surface, and the mushrooms will begin to brown. Take them off the heat. Next, we're moving on to the beef. Prior to the show, I knew nothing about all the different cuts of beef. The book says a fillet of beef, the rump and rib ends of the fillet are usually used. See illustrations, page 306. And it has this little diagram here that says either the rump or the rib end. And I picked this area here, which is tenderloin butt. So I went to the butcher and I asked him, do you have any tenderloin butt, rump, steak, fillet, whatever? He said, yeah, that's this. So I said, oh, great. Now this is 400 grams, which cost me 25 pounds. Now when he told me the price, I had to act really cool about it because I had to act like I had done it before. So I was just like, yeah, sure, 25 pounds, no problem. I'm just not used to spending like that on beef, so I was taken aback. I'm telling you all this because there'll be someone out there that's watching this and be like, well, you're not using the right cut of beef, or that beef that you're using is too expensive for the dish that you're making, or whatever. I just know that I'm learning, so I'm sorry. I'm always sorry. Cut the fillet into 2-ounce pieces, about 2 inches across and a 1/2 inch thick. What does this weigh? 1/2 inch thick and 2 inches across, and this weighs 2 ounces. Probably more up to me how I want all this cut. I think that's fine. It's like 2 ounces, like 1.8. I mean, you can cut your beef however you want. I don't know. This is already pretty dry, but I'm gonna dry it thoroughly. Okay, cast iron skillet. Moderately high heat, in between 1 ounce and 1/2 ounce of butter, and same deal with the oil. The butter is foaming. Sauté the beef. Not all of it at once, just a little at a time. Give it some space. 2 to 3 minutes on each side to brown the exterior. Keep the inside rosy red. Now these slices aren't really thick, so I'm kind of staying around 2 minutes per side. Maybe less than 2 minutes. Maybe like 1.5 minutes per side, just until they're browned. That ought to do it. Whenever a cookbook says like 2 to 3 minutes, whenever a cookbook gives me like beef time estimates of how to cook it, I gotta take that with a grain of salt, because this didn't take 2 to 3 minutes per side. It took like half of that for each one of these. If I went 2 to 3 minutes per side, I think that's crazy talk. So I didn't do that. And this is probably overcooked as it is. So no, it's good. In the cast iron skillet, I need to discard all the sautéing fat, which, I mean, that kind of surprises me because usually you like all the sauté fat, don't you? But what do I know? Discard it. One of the stock cubes in boiling hot water. This is like 190 milliliters. So this next part is Madeira wine, which is the bracket best choice, or dry white vermouth, which I have already in this kitchen. But I was walking around the stores and I passed the wine section and I saw this Madeira, dark, luscious, and fragrant wine. Its intense flavors make it perfect match for rich desserts, chocolate, or just with coffee. It's from Portugal. I don't think I need to use even remotely close to a bottle's worth of it, but if it's delicious on its own, maybe I can just drink it. So, it's a sweet ass wine. Okay, let's just keep going here. Crank the heat and add the stock and 1/8 pint of this.
59.15 milliliters.
So bring that to a boil. I need to scrape up all the coagulation from when I was sauteing the beef, anything that's left over. Get that all up in the sauce. The liquid's gotta reduce until it's about 1/8 of a pint. So we just gotta wait. So the liquid has been reduced, so I'm gonna add around 230 something milliliters of heavy cream. Corn flour blended with a tablespoon of cream. Oh. Till it becomes like a slurry, right? Corn flour cream mixture. Blend that all together. Simmer for like a minute. The sauce should have a slight liaison. Mushrooms go in next. Salt, pepper, season the beef next lightly. Return the beef back into the frying pan with all the juices. Yeah. And I probably shouldn't cook the beef any longer than I already did. This is done. I think that's good. I know it's good. Add a little color to the dish. How about that? Little green, little greenage. Is that too much? Maybe. That is a quality dish that took like no time at all. I mean, granted, it took me longer than the half an hour that it promised in the book. I don't think the cookbook puts into consideration if you're making a cooking show. When you have a bite of like the steak and that sauce, oh, and a mushroom, you can taste this wine, the Madeira wine. You can really taste that in the sauce, and it's really nice, and it differentiates itself from the mushroom cream sauce that I made for the chicken supreme. So they kind of have two different tastes going on. Both of them I could just eat by the spoonfuls. It's just another solid dish from this cookbook. Just what we've come to expect, and of course lots of butter and lots of cream, but you know, buckle up, your taste buds are going for a ride. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Shout out to my Patreon supporters. You see them up on the screen right there. They're helping out and supporting the show in a very big way. And if you're curious at all of what's going on over at Patreon, it's linked in the description along with like all my social media and Instagram and the link for this cookbook. It's all over there. So yeah, that's it. That was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. See you soon.